Well, time to commute to work. Ah, there we are. First thing up this morning, we've got a meeting with a fertilizer guy. We're gonna sit down with him and discuss all our fertilizer prices so that we can lock in the prices that they have available right now before we get into our busy season. Basically commit a certain amount of fertilizer to them, to the company, and they will commit to providing that for us. So this ultimately really is step number one in our 2020 crop plan. So we're already looking towards next year's crop before we've even started harvesting this year's crop. And Dad got a bunch of the tools transferred over, so we've got our new gear wrench toolbox set up here so he can take his Craftsman over to his place. Thanks for transferring the tools.
Yeah, it's kind of a fun job.
Before our fertilizer guy gets here, I'm gonna go grab the 8320 and the grain cart, get that in the shop so that we can go over the grain cart a little bit, take a look at that, and we've also got a radio guy coming with our private band two-way radios. He's gonna install a radio in that tractor and in our new to us Peterbilt.
Partly cloudy skies, and a few more clouds move in as...
You got everything we need there?
Well, I hope so.
I got a radio in here too.
There is radio in there?
Well, on the seat. Well, that meeting took a lot longer than I thought it would, so I finished it off with a well-rounded lunch that consisted of potato salad and Funyuns. Back to work. Item number one, I've got a high amp charger here for the grain cart. This comes right from J&M. Believe it or not, we had some battery issues with the battery that controls the tarp on this thing. Probably got drawn down, sat in the cold storage shed all winter, 30 below out there. The tractor's been charging it okay now. I'm thinking it was because it was on the tractor that had bad batteries. I don't know, but they sent me a new high amp charger, so I'm gonna throw that one in there quick. Right back here, which is easy to get to, not as dark as it looks on camera. Well, that's done. Now there are no daily greasers on this machine, so we didn't have to grease anything all last fall. The biggest thing we want to do is keep an eye on your hubs, make sure the oil level inside your hubs looks good. Check all of those. If that's just a visual sighting thing through the glass. That's the biggest thing. Keep an eye, mostly just keep an eye on it. And we do have a grease zerk. I see there's one up there on the auger, on the folding part, not a big deal. And there is one on the hanger bearing up here. So I will grease that. I was told that is an 800-hour grease zerk. So when you can unload 1,000 bushels in 2 minutes or less, it takes a lot of bushels to get to 800 hours. You okay, Anna? She'll be all right. All right, we'll check what the inside looks like. Okay, we got some beans in there, which I knew. Everything else looks pretty good. You're just in time.
Just in time?
Yeah. To lean on the toolbox.
Okay. How's it work? Roll it over there?
Yep, works good.
Good.
As long as I got somebody here with me, we're gonna run down to Glenwood and grab the combine because they are now finished with that. So that freeze that we had just a few days ago froze things a lot more than I thought it did that day. A lot of our corn, you can see here, is really losing its color. So when you get out in there, the stalks on most of it is still alive. It's not as dead as it looks, but that frost, it killed a lot of it off. It hurt us more than I thought it did, particularly the beans, which were not done filling out. it is going to cost us some yield on beans. On the corn, it's probably just going to slow the dry down a little bit, maybe give us a little bit lighter test weight. Probably didn't do a lot of damage to the corn, but to the beans, we got frost. Well, that's gonna about do it on this thing. This thing's pretty well ready. I'm gonna bring some trucks in here later, probably in a couple of days, because tomorrow I think Dad and Onyx and I are gonna head up to the Big Iron Farm Show up in Fargo. We're gonna take Onyx up there. Here he comes now. Woo! I'm just so gosh darn proud. Look at that boy go. All right, Onyx, should we snap into tomorrow? You want to do it?
Yeah.
All right, hang on. Okay, here's how you do it. You just hold the finger up, kind of. Okay, ready? Go. So I had an 01 XESP 600, and that's what I broke my hip on.
Okay.
Busted, yeah, not broke my hip. Busted my pelvis. Randy thinks it's hilarious when I say I broke my hip.
Acetabulum, to be specific.
Yeah, I was 19. Yep. Just up the road here, actually. My brother, my dad, and I, we went to the local bar for lunch, and then on the way back, so we had the Groom Trail on the south side of the road, and then on the north side of the road was where the big drifts were.
Right.
And I was bound and determined when we hit that mile stretch there that I was gonna take the north side and hit all the drifts, hit all the big jumps, and I was still gonna beat my dad and my brother to the other end. But they beat me by 2-3 weeks.
So you
had a small detour.
Yeah, I ended up in Hennepin County a couple hours later.
So you ended up in the ER.
So Douglas County came and got me. I went to Alexandria.
Yep.
And then they took a couple x-rays, which was some of the most painful things I've done in my life. Like, roll to your side. Like, I can't, broken. Man. My brain is not communicating with anything from the chest down. Like, I can't, I don't, and then they'd roll me and it would hurt like hell.
Right. So at what point did they cut your pants off?
Pretty quickly.
Yeah, that was in the ambulance.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
So why, Randy? Do you have some sort of a story?
So there's two things you learned growing up.
Yeah.
I don't remember the first thing. And the second thing is always how does it go exactly?
Hold on.
Didn't your mother tell you growing up that you should always wear nice underwear in case you're in an accident?
Yes, that's it.
Oh, man. They were clean. They're just like I'd worn them many hundreds of times.
The nurses cut Zach's pants off and find like a couple strings of underwear on his body. They literally just had to like snip here and here.
They were impressed.
They're just the most holiest underwear that exists on the planet.
Well, if you find a pair that fits well, you don't want to just get rid of it.
All right. So there was things hanging out.
I'm gonna come clean on this. So
2 of them.
So the third one stayed put.
That one doesn't come out on its own.
My wife Kristen, she's always on me about my underwear, because I'd like you said, you got a good pair, you keep them around, right?
You hang on to those.
So I always have my work undies, and then there's my nice ones, right? So it's just like during the week, I'm like, I'll just wear my normal ones, right? Well, there was a couple pair that had some holes like around the band at the top, right? And of course, that was the day I go for my skin check, which I didn't think of that. So I go and you get like the skin, you strip down to your undies, and then they like check to see if you got any moles or skin cancer or anything like that. And I didn't realize that I had those ones on. So I got these holy underwear. and then I took my pants off, I'm like, oh no. Oh man, I'm that guy right now. Got holy underwear.